There are a lot of great quarterbacks in college football this upcoming season, probably the best talent we've seen at the position in some time. With the season less than 2 months away, I thought it'd be fun to rank the top 50 quarterbacks in college football for the upcoming 2022 campaign. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. Today, we'll be looking at the quarterbacks I have ranked 41 through 50. In a very fitting way, we'll kick off this countdown with Penix, who I have at number 50. There might be some other quarterbacks who are worthy of being on this list that are going to get snubbed, but there's no way that I couldn't talk about the greatest quarterback of our generation on this list. After spending 3 seasons with Auburn, Nix opted to enter the transfer portal during the offseason. He ended up at Oregon, where he'll look to turn things around. During his tenure with the Tigers, he threw for over 7,200 yards with 39 passing touchdowns. He also added nearly 900 yards on the ground with 18 rushing touchdowns as well. Since 2019, only 5 quarterbacks in the country have more games with 1 passing touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown. The potential is certainly there with Penix, but he just hasn't lived up to the hype quite yet. I really do think there's a chance that he can turn things around at Oregon. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a Heisman frontrunner by any means, but I definitely think he can easily have the best season of his career. Coming up next on the list at number 49 is Boise State quarterback Hank Bachmeier. After appearing in 13 games from 2019 through 2020, he started 12 games for the Broncos in 2021. He completed 63% of his passes for 3,100 yards with 20 passing touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Bachmeier threw a touchdown pass in all but 1 game last season and threw at least 2 in half of his games. We've seen him have games in which he lights up the stat sheet, but he just hasn't been able to do that consistently over a full season. Maybe 2022 will be the season in which he can finally emerge as one of the best quarterbacks in the entire Mountain West. Number 48 is a quarterback with a lot of experience over the years, TCU quarterback Max Duggan. Over the last 3 seasons, he's appeared in 32 games for the Horned Frogs. During his time with TCU, he's thrown for under 6,000 yards with 41 passing touchdowns. He's also added nearly 1,500 yards on the ground with 19 rushing touchdowns. Duggan is coming off a career season for the Horned Frogs. He completed a career-high 64% of his passes while throwing a career-high 16 passing touchdowns. His rushing numbers were down, but he had back-to-back seasons with 500-plus rushing yards in 2019 and 2020, including rushing for a career-best 10 rushing touchdowns in 2020. Number 47 is a quarterback who really burst onto the scene for Oregon State last year in Nolan. He played in all 13 games and made 12 starts. He threw 19 touchdown passes with 2,700 yards while completing 65% of his passes. He also posted a passer rating of 148.3, the second best in the entire Pac-12. He also added 300 yards on the ground with 3 rushing touchdowns. Nolan was an all Pac-12 honorable mention, though Pro Football Focus named him all Pac-12 first team. Nolan had 7 games last season with at least 2 passing touchdowns, one of the top marks in the entire Pac-12. Oregon State was one of the more surprising teams in the conference last season, and it was largely due to the play of Nolan. Western Kentucky quarterback Jarrett Doege comes in at number 46. After spending 2 seasons at Bowling Green and 3 at West Virginia, Doege transferred to Western Kentucky for his final collegiate season. During his college football career, he's thrown for 10,500 yards with 79 career passing touchdowns. Quietly, he has a chance to finish with some of the better numbers in college football history. If he throws just 30 passing touchdowns this year, he'll be ranked inside the top 20 in career passing touchdowns. If he throws for 3,000 passing yards, he'll be inside the top 15 all time. He's coming off his first career 3,000 plus yard season with West Virginia. His 19 passing touchdowns were also the second most he's had in a season. He heads to a Western Kentucky team that just saw Bailey Zappi have a record-breaking season. I know a lot of the coaching staff is different, but I think Doege can have a solid final season. Number 45 is a quarterback who has been around for quite some time, as Chris Reynolds will be entering his 5th season with Charlotte. During his time with the 49ers, he's thrown for over 7,700 yards with 62 passing touchdowns, while also rushing for 1,000 yards with 11 rushing touchdowns. He's coming off his best season of his career in 2021. He was named third team all-conference after setting single-season school records in passing yards per game, and passing touchdowns. He threw for 300-plus yards in 3 games, also a school record. To put it kindly, Chris Reynolds is the greatest quarterback in the history of the program. Now, I know it's not saying a whole lot, but he's still been really good for Charlotte. He gets one final year to set even more records while climbing up the all-time quarterback rankings as well with his numbers. Number 44 is a quarterback we didn't see a whole lot of last season, but it was a really good sample size. Shapen will be the starting quarterback for Baylor. He saw action in 6 games with 2 starts in 2021. He completed 72% of his passes for 600 yards with 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He set a Big 12 championship record with 17 straight completions against Oklahoma State. He then threw for 250 yards with 2 touchdowns in his first career start against Texas Tech. Then, in the Big 12 title game against Oklahoma State, he completed 23 of 28 passes for just under 200 yards with 3 touchdowns. He'll enter the 2022 season as a starter for the first time in his career. Number 43 is a quarterback who has dealt with a number of injuries over the years, in Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. After spending 4 seasons with Indiana, he transferred to Washington, where he'll be in a battle for the starting quarterback job. He's played in a total of only 20 games over the last 4 seasons, but he's thrown for 4,200 yards with 29 passing touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns. His best season came back in 2020 when he earned second team All-Big Ten and was named Indiana's team MVP. In 2021, he started the first 5 games prior to his season-ending injury. Before the injury, he led the Big Ten in passing yards per game, passing touchdowns, and completions. If he's able to stay healthy for the Huskies, he's likely going to put together the best season of his career. Number 42 goes to a very familiar quarterback in Clifford, who's going to return to Penn State for his 5th season. During his time with the Nittany Lions, he's thrown for nearly 8,000 yards with 62 passing touchdowns. He's also rushed for 10 touchdowns as well. Clifford had arguably his best season at Penn State in 2021. He became the only Penn State quarterback to have 3 games with 250 plus passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns in each of 2 seasons. He finished 4th all-time in single-season passing yards with 3,100, 4th in completions, 5th in completion percentage, and was tied for 7th in touchdown passes with 21. We'll wrap up today's list at number 41 with the quarterback who hasn't quite lived up to the hype just yet in Stanford quarterback Tanner McKee. He got his first shot at being a starting quarterback last season for the Cardinal. He started only 9 games and became the 3rd freshman quarterback in Stanford history to throw for 2,000 yards in a season, as he threw for more than 2,300. He scored 19 total touchdowns, the most by a freshman quarterback in program history, while his 15 passing touchdowns tied the freshman record. McKee had 5 games with at least 3 total touchdowns, which overall was the 3rd most in program history in a single season. Again, he missed 3 games last year, so his numbers could have been even better. McKee was one of the top quarterback recruits of his class, and I think this season he'll look more like the highly touted recruit that we all expected him to be when he was a 5-star recruit. Well, that wraps it up for today's list in my top 50 countdown. Stay tuned for the rest of my top 50 in the coming weeks. Before you guys leave, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.